Good evening and welcome to Gunner Shot. Today we're going to discuss and debate a very interesting topic. Are US hawks swooping down? You know on whom? That little reptile. Okay, having said that, why have I chosen this topic? Just in the past, what, 4 days, not even 3, 4 days, I came across some interesting reactions from China and interesting developments, which was not really reported in other media. But the Chinese media is pretty, observant about all these things. So I picked up their views, their reportage, and then I said, look, there's something happening. First day I didn't, second day I reacted, third day I made a small video and put it out for 10 minutes about 3 days back. And now I find there's a larger thing. And what's more interesting is, like many people talk, oh, Biden administration is doing this, Trump administration is going to do that. There's nothing of that kind. I think there's a lot of sync in this transition, unlike probably before. Actions which are happening are completely in sync with what Biden had to do with China. I don't think Trump will do different, and he might be doing more. That's the story which I get. Okay, so let's dive into the whole subject. Who are the Trump hawks? The Trump hawks identified by China are these 6 people. Mark Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth, who's the Defense Secretary, the National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, and then, of course, John Ratcliffe, who's going to head the CIA, Lady 𝗤𝙗𝗍𝗍𝗏 𝗍𝗏, who's going to be the Director of National Intelligence, and the US Trade Rep. He's just been nominated yesterday. And he is against going to be, the Chinese expect him to be a hardliner. Why a hardliner? He was part of the Trump tariff negotiation team the last time around. He was number 2 then, now he's become number 1. And of these, Rubio, Ratcliffe, 𝗤𝙗𝗍𝗏, and Michael Waltz are supposed to be pro-Indian. So it makes the whole thing interesting. But today there's nothing much about India. We are going to talk about US and China more. Okay, where does it start? There's yet another person Trump has nominated. Very interesting. It's gone under the radar. This gentleman, 𝗤𝙗𝗍𝗏 𝗍𝗂𝘁, he's a retired Army Lieutenant General, 3-star. What has he been done? What is he going to do? He's a special envoy for Ukraine, Russia. This is a position which no one has held so far. Okay? And what is the expectation? The expectation is that he will negotiate to end the war. And this comes today morning from Washington Post. You see, this is a Washington Post report. Very interesting. So then I said, I put my thinking cap on. Without hair, you need a cap. So, and then scratch my brain, and I said, okay, let me put across something like this. See, we'll have to see this entire story which is happening against the backdrop of the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire, which has come into effect already. I'll analyze the outcomes of that part of the story a little more. Something interesting is happening in this ceasefire and beyond. Then, of course, Trump has already said that he wants to end the Russia-Ukraine war. What will be the outcome of that? Okay. Iran has surprisingly cooled off. If you've seen past 2 weeks, Iran chup 𝗣𝗽𝗍𝗏𝗏. Is it because of Israeli retaliatory strikes, where Israel has, ripped apart their air defense systems? As a result, Iran knows that it is defenseless. Is that it? The combination of these three is, I think, enabling US to shift focus to China. It's apparent now to my way of thinking. And we'll see this as we go along. The focus now is on China. That's why the hawks are swooping down. Okay. So this is what South China Morning Post said today. Look at this. Trump trade war 2.0 is a big, much higher wave. And it says China is still smarting from Trump's last tariff blitz. So China has to be ready for this. And keeping in line with this, Trump has put a tariff on China, Mexico, and Canada. China 10% over what all, or he's planning. He says he'll announce it. 30% on Mexico and 30% on Canada. The first reaction is from Canada. Oh, भाई साहब, उसने तो पैंट गीला हो गया उसका. उसने बोला नहीं, हम बात करेंगे. Mexico has, put a bit of a tough statement out, and China has kept quiet. It's very important. Look at this graph. This is Mexico, this is China, and this is Canada. Look what's happened in the past 2 years here. Mexico imports have gone up and the Chinese imports have gone down. Very clearly, a lot of imports from China are now being routed through Mexico. So if it is 30% tariff on Mexico, there will be a backlash on China. 10% direct tariff on China. Already there are some tariffs. Okay, so the screws on this game are being turned, and I don't think there'll be a reversal of this. That's my gut feeling, right? You'll see this increasing as days go by, and you'll see some effect. It's not as if Trump is going to shake up the whole system. That's clear to us. Okay, and then this is new again. Today, a lot of news coming out from China. They're looking at more chip sanctions. And this chip sanctions, I don't think Biden is going to wait. He's going to put. So it gives me the feeling that the Biden team and this new transition team, there is already some communication on, and things are being, it's no more, look, everyone says Biden is a lame duck administration. Yes, he's lame duck. But on this, he's not lame duck. He is doing what he has to do. And I don't think the Trump administration is pulling their punches back. You wait, we'll come and do. I think there is an understanding. They might even be egging them on. Go ahead, do it. We'll look after the backside or the back end of the story later. Now, let's look at the military part of it. The military part of it, as it is emerging, to my way of looking at it, is very, very, very interesting. Okay, first, HIMARS is being deployed to South Japan. Where is this being deployed? I mean, HIMARS with its ATACMS, range 300 kilometers, multiple warheads. Okay, and this is a very stable weapon system being in use from 91. Mach 3. So it's not a small, slow stuff. It's a fast missile. Okay, where is it being deployed? Here. In these areas. South Japan. Just south of the Miyako Straits. I'll come to that a little later. Then, Philippines is going to host a US missile unit. Okay, where is that going to happen? That's the Typhoon. First and foremost, that's the Typhoon launcher. Okay, the Typhoon launcher can fire the Tomahawk missiles. The Tomahawk missiles have a range of 2,500 kilometers. With 2,500 kilometers sitting in Philippines, they can cover up China and entire South China Sea. Incidentally, these were deployed in April 24 as part of an exercise. Only thing now it's going to be made permanent, and it's a road mobile system, so you can't catch it. It's a mobile launcher. And every mobile launcher is difficult to track. Where is it going to get deployed? It's going to get deployed here in Luzon, northernmost part. This is Taiwan. This is called the 𝗤𝗲𝙬 Strait, or the 𝗤𝗲𝙬 Channel, but 50 kilometers wide. So virtually, I'll explain this here. If this channel is going to be blocked, HIMARS is going to come here, and HIMARS is going to come here. From the north also movement is blocked. So all those, blockades, all that nonsense, now we'll have to rethink. And if China wants to do those blockades and all, they'll continue to do. उसमें क्या है? कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा उससे. Okay, now let me show this a little bigger. Right? So this is Luzon, Philippines, 𝗤𝗲𝙬 Channel, Taiwan. This is where the HIMARS is going to come. This is the 𝗤𝗂𝘀𝘀 Strait, and this is the 𝗤𝗂𝘀 Strait, and this is Okinawa. Okinawa is a base. So what are you going to have? You're going to have a missile unit here, a Tomahawk unit here, a HIMARS unit here. Okinawa is already a base, and this is already a base. So this entire line, this is the first island chain line. And these three axes are going to get blocked with this move. Okay. Now, does it stop here? No. Till here, almost I did the video about 2 days back. But yesterday, this came up. Now, US is now looking at a nuclear submarine being, deployed here. Where? In Guam. Okay, this is going to be a Virginia class nuclear attack submarine, which was not deployed till recently. Incidentally, this got deployed. Already it's there. It's already reached Guam. It's not prospective. What does this do? Just to give you an idea, it's a fast attack, nuclear powered fast attack sub. It's got 12 vertical launch tubes, part of a triad. Okay, it's a huge one. It's 115 meters long, 7,800 tons, with a speed of 25 knots, very fast underneath. Right? It's got a lot of modern features. It's got a photonic mast, so the traditional periscope is not there. And it's got a fly-by-wire control system to go into shallow depths. It's already deployed in Guam. It's joined the fleet there. हम तो यूक्रेन, Israel वगैरह देख रहे हैं, यहाँ action हो रहा है. I told you, one day I'll get back to South China Sea. Right? Right. This is not all. This comes out yesterday. What? Taiwan is carrying out training to carry out urban warfare. And where are they doing it? In cities. So they're expecting, चलो आ जाओ अभी urban warfare में, we'll train our boys, young chaps, जो भी है. And Taiwan is now, I think, very serious about their own defense. Okay. So the question with China, will Trump return signal stormier waters for Beijing in South China Sea? Of course it will. There's no doubt about it. So South China Sea is going to be the focus. So hereafter you will find all kinds of heroes in this YouTube channel will flock to their YouTube, flock to South China Sea, start learning, यार वहाँ island कौन सा है, वहाँ पानी क्या होता है, all that nonsense. and they'll start fibbing to you. I'm telling you now itself. Okay. But then my poor old me, I know South China Sea well. I've studied it for the past 3-4 years. I'll give you the truth. So I'll give you the truth, but I'll not analyze South China Sea today fully. That I'll do one another day. But this is the story which is happening. Okay. So the other interesting part of this is there's a US Philippines task force which has been made. This task force is going to be operating in South China Sea. So once the US Philippines task force operates in the South China Sea, China will have problems to, with its Coast Guard and all, to loaf around freely. I mean, one doesn't know the actual outlines of this task force and how they will behave and all that. But we have a task force, it's task. What is a task force? A task force is something which is tasked, a force made specifically tailor-made for a particular task to execute it. In this case, this task force, it seems, is to patrol South China Sea. Over and above this, there are reports that the Quad countries will also carry out patrols. Quad countries carry out patrols. This task force carries out patrols, and all that problem of with China bossing around and saying, "Though this island is mine, that island is mine," bullying Philippines will start coming down. As it is, China is stuck there. Okay, so but then we'll talk of it. Now, this is the larger picture of. Have a look at it a little closer. This is the larger picture of the first island chain. This is the first island chain, right? And this is the second island chain, and this is Guam. Now, all these black ones are the earlier bases, right? So this is where the bases were there earlier. Now these yellow ones are the ones this is where the Typhoon is going to get deployed. This is where HIMARS is going to get deployed. And this is where the Virginia class is going to get deployed. Sub. So this from here, okay, from here, he can react here, he can react here, he can react anywhere. And this distance is about 500-600 kilometers. A matter of 5-6 hours, this submarine will be effective anywhere here. It can forward deploy. Okay, with these bases, over and above that, though here there are 2 stars which are shown where Philippines bases are there. Actually, the deal between US and Philippines is that US will have 4 bases in Philippines. So here I've only shown you 3. In fact, there's a base which they've shown. Whether this is the base or not, I'm not very sure. But they might have a forward base anywhere. And the deal was to have, what shall I say, mobile bases that 𝗤𝗏𝗏 type, not a permanent base in Philippines. That actually, that's a very lethal thing. So the base can be anywhere. It's a mobile base. Now, if you look at it, you see a whole lot, even in Malaysia and Vietnam, and not Vietnam, this is in Thailand. So US forces are deployed. Till about 2 years back, the whole story was that, okay, they can deploy where they want and no problem. It doesn't matter how we are and all that. But the fact was 2 years back, 3 years back, US didn't have so many bases. They were quite concentrated. At that time, China made a lot of noise. Oh, we have DF-21, we have DF-17, they're carrier killers. We'll kill all your carriers, all that. So what USA did, they said, okay, we'll have small bases and many more. They've redeployed in the past 2 years. It's only when, I saw these 3 articles on Typhoon being deployed, on HIMARS being deployed, and this Virginia class sub coming in. Did I start piecing all of them together, and this is the picture which has come out. And these bases are going to be lethal. You can't knock out all bases, right? China doesn't have that capability. And with so much spread out, they also cover complete China. Actually, China is now hemmed in, contained completely, if you understand what has happened. Okay. And this is not something which will happen just because Trump has come. This has happened over the past 2-3 years of Biden administration. Now the hawks will take off from here. The dragon will be caught in this jal. But this is not the only thing. Let me explain a little more. Look at this map. This is a very interesting map again. Okay, I'll make it full. This is a very interesting map. It shows the yellow dots which are here are those which are already bases. Okay, these blue ones are potential bases, and these are places where some basing is already there, or there are presence of US troops. And from the time this map was made, many of these are now turned into stars, which I showed you earlier. These are the bases, approximately. Now, what happens is, if you look at it right from South Korea, Japan, this first island chain, this is Okinawa, all this Japanese territory, here down to Philippines, and down to, Malaysia, Thailand. Malaysia obviously is Malaysia and Singapore. You have a Singapore base to control Malacca Strait, and a base in Thailand. And what does Thailand base do? It will hit Yunnan. And if this fellow gets this St. Martin's Island, then thing is in problem. Look, I am not interested whether they get St. Martin's Island or not. But if they get, it will affect China. Of course, it affects us also, but that's a different story. We're not talking of US-China relationship. Does it stop here? It doesn't stop here. Why? You look at it, what's happened because of this deployment. Now, these are the passages out of South China Sea. Right? Let me name them. This is the Korean Strait. This is the Tokara Strait. This is the Miyako Strait. This is the Bashi Channel. And from here, this is the 𝗣𝗽𝗏 Strait, Lombok Strait, Sunda Strait, and the Malacca Strait. So all these now are covered. If all these are covered, where does China move out with its navy? That's the $1,000,000 question. Please understand. China can't deploy its navy the way it might have the biggest navy. It can't deploy. And the Chinese know it. That is why they have more number of small craft. They want to defend. If everyone is going to sit around you like this, the way it is here, everyone is going to sit around you like this, you have to defend. You can't just say, I'll keep on the offensive. You have to defend your homeland. And one of these days, I'll discuss the military geography of China to make you understand how vulnerable China is. Look, let me tell you, China might have many planes more than us. It might have more ships than us. It might have more, whatever, rockets and all. But it has to defend 15,000 kilometers of its coastline. And that's where its heartland is. I've shown you the vulnerability here. Okay. And if you really look at this map closely, China faces actually 4 fronts. One is in Korea, the second is in Taiwan, the third is in Philippines, and fourth is India. You think he went back from us just for fun? How can he handle 4 fronts? You are not able to handle 2 fronts in peace or confidently. Just think of the Chinese, they have to handle 4 fronts. Okay, does the whole story stop here? No, it doesn't stop here. Let's look at it further. Yay, Korean Peninsula. Friend, this fellow, Kim Jong-un, there he's done a bit of a trick on Xi Jinping. He's gone, made friends with Putin. He's giving ammunition to Putin. He's given, he has got off all his communications today are on a Russian satellite, not on Chinese satellite. And when did this happen? Early last year or late last year. He switched. Now already Trump's people are talking with this fellow. The moment he starts talking with Trump and this whole thing starts happening, China starts feeling uneasy. That's it. And just last month or 2 weeks back, in that APEC conference, Xi Jinping conveyed to Biden that Korean Peninsula, peace on the Korean Peninsula is my priority. It's my red line. I will not allow Korean Peninsula to get destabilized. Why? It affects his heartland. We don't understand this very easily. I have a look at it again. This is Korea. This is Korea, North Korea. North Korea has borders with China, and North Korea is closer to Beijing. Okay, and the entire 𝗤𝗚 and 𝗤𝘂𝘆 is all Korean Peninsula. So anything happening in the Korean Peninsula, is very uncomfortable for Xi Jinping. So that is why this, he's very worried. That's why he's given this warning to Biden. And I'll talk more about Korea one of these days. It's a very interesting thing. Okay. The second thing is, last year, Japan, South Korea, and US had almost a treaty for their trilateral cooperation. Now, traditionally, Japan and South Korea have not had much cooperation. But now they have. US has brought them together last year. So it's almost a pact. And, 2 years back, USA was deploying THAADs in South Korea, and they were adding some weapon systems in South Korea. China made a lot of noise. They almost stopped deployment of THAAD. Why? Because the moment you deploy THAAD there, Chinese missiles are under threat. The same one which they've now deployed, one battery they've deployed in Israel. I did explain about it a little earlier, one of the videos. So anything happening in Korea, Japan is a problem for Xi Jinping. That's a new front. Okay. Does it end there? It doesn't. Now US, Japan, Australia, all of them say, okay, we'll get together and we'll have intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance cooperation and all that. Plus the Quad. Plus, US has individual, equations with Malaysia, with Thailand, and all that. So if you notice in this entire area, all these countries have security relationship with USA, trade relationship with China. They'll say trade, I'll trade with you. But if they are under threat, they'll say go to daddy. Daddy is USA. They can't survive. So now you see what will happen when Trump team comes in. All this has happened, as far as China is concerned, there's a bipartisan approach. Till now, this military deployment was going under the radar, but now it's come over the radar all of a sudden, just about past 1 week. So, action. Right. Yeah, I have actually, this is what I had to tell you today. Not a long, discourse, but the fact is that we are going through a transition and an interesting time. I've always maintained today there are 3 theaters of war. One is Ukraine, Russia. Second is Iran, Israel, and third is this. That's tailing down. Ukraine, Russia, I think will, slowly wind down, because there are issues where they try. If you remember, we did that thing where these chaps have fired ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles and all that, and they have fired this MRBM with re-entry vehicles, all getting into position. Simultaneously, there's a move to get geared up down. So if that ends and the Israel-Hezbollah thing also kicks in, then US has got all the time to focus on China. China knows it. That's why he's disengaged from us. I mean, if you now see why China is doing what it does, it knows where it stands. On one hand, North Korea, Korean Peninsula is getting heated up. You see the first island chain getting beefed up. You see attack subs have come in, nuclear subs. So he'll say, यार मोदी जी छोड़ दो हमें, तुम पेट्रोल करते रहना, हम बाकी करते रहेंगे. So that's the logic. And we need to understand the Korea story better, which I'll do maybe next week sometime. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about Korea, and I'll also talk about China's military geography, how poor it is. Right. So this is what I had to say. So you're going to see things ahead and tightening of screws on China. So all those people who say, yeah, China will become the number 1 superpower in the world and all, just relax. It's not going to happen. Okay. So that's all. So let me take some questions from all of you. Before that, I have, okay, this is great. 𝗤𝗧𝙬𝗫, thanks a lot for joining me as a member. Honored. And Sree Hari gifted 50 Gunner Shot memberships. Thanks a lot, Hari. So nice of you. It's good. Like I said, I'll help people. And this, of course, it's me thinking who says, I think China and US are in geopolitical game. Your view. So yes, they are in a geopolitical game. There's no doubt about it. But this geopolitical game, whatever is happening is good for us. The way it's now moving, right? We are also in a geopolitical game. I mean, why be sort of shy about it? You're a rising power, and we should start thinking big. Okay, that's how I look at it. Okay, yeah. So now Vishwanathan says till the 70s, USA had a vibrant manufacturing skill. Now it has moved to Asia and China. Having diluted their skill prowess, can they bring back industry? If so, the timeline. Our generation has seen a growing India which has lost its manufacturing capabilities in the 90s following the economic reforms, and our attempt to infuse industrial growth is hampered by the limited availability of skilled manpower. Following our independence, we had built a system of engineers, diploma holders, right, and all that. And where is it? Next question. Yeah. Forming a distinct pyramidal structure, this was disrupted. as on date, China seems to have a distinct advantage. Will it not be an uphill task? I completely agree with you, Viswanathan. It's going to be an uphill task. It's not going to be easy handling China. And that is why my focus is on China most of the time. Because he is our biggest neighbor, he is our most troublesome neighbor, and he's a very tough neighbor to handle. Okay, and he is colluding completely with Pakistan. Let me be very clear, and I'm going to talk of it on Sunday. On Sunday in the open house, I'm going to tackle 2-3 things. We're going to talk of China-Pak collusion. We are also going to talk of Chinese mercenaries and private security companies which have started operating, because some of them are going to get deployed in Pakistan and things like that. So we have to keep our antenna up with them. How we do it is a challenge. In fact, unfortunately, to my way of thinking, we're not doing enough. We're just not doing enough to scale. How we do it to scale is our challenge. I also understand it won't happen in overnight. The past 5 years, we had this golden opportunity, which we have not utilized well. So how do we utilize the next 4-5 years is the question mark. If you don't do it in the next 4-5 years, your opportunity is gone. Thanks a lot. Good evening and Jai Hind to all of you.